Excitement filled the air in Columbia on March 15, 1967, as President Lyndon and First Lady Johnson's motorcade moved slowly through the streets of Columbia to the college's new campus. An American president had not visited Maury County in 150 years. Several thousand people lined the motorcade route.
The Red Letter Day in the life of Maury County still dances in the memories of many of the folks who were at the campus and along the motorcade route on the college's dedication day. Their memories and stories are told with crystal clear clarity. Instead of 50 years ago, you might think this all happened just yesterday. Their stories are told with such wonder, such enthusiasm, and such pride. Listening to their stories, I often feel like I was actually there too. Oh, that I were. Ask any of the people along the motorcade route or at the campus that day. The first thing they recall and report is how cold, windy, and overcast the day was.
But it was a rather cold and windy day, and the weather did not cooperate. Of course, the time of year that we had it, I guess you could expect that.
Cold, chilly, overcast day, us being dressed what I thought inappropriately for the day in more of a summer outfit, but it was showy, so that's what we wore.
You can sure tell it was almost 50 years ago because everyone had on a hat. Even if we were freezing, we had those hats. We pretended it was warm.
Most folks forgot the cold biting wind as the White House couple arrived in the presidential limousine. It was a moment many had waited for hours. Their reaction testified it was well worth the wait. Many could scarcely believe that Columbia was being visited by not only the gracious First Lady, but also the President of the United States, leader of the free world, and possibly the most powerful and influential man on the planet.
Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought I got that close to a president and first lady. Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm standing here with the president and the first lady.
When the news that President Johnson and his wife were coming here, that was a red letter day, of course, for Maury County.
What a day it was. Not many people can be close up to the President of the United States because it's the most prestigious office in the world.
Along with state and local dignitaries, Columbia's Central High School band welcomed the first couple when it struck up Ruffles and Flourishes, followed by Hail to the Chief and the Star-Spangled Banner. Lining the red carpet path from the presidential limousine to the dedication platform were the uniformed young cadets of Columbia Military Academy. As they made their way along the red carpet to the dedication platform, the Johnsons stopped to greet a special education student, Curtis Floyd. Curtis presented the First Lady a bouquet of flowers on behalf of the Maury County Association for Retarded Children. In press photographs of the dedication, Lady Bird can be seen holding tightly to the bouquet of flowers during the dedication ceremony. All eyes were fixed on Lady Bird as she stepped to the podium to officially dedicate the new college campus. According to many of the onlookers, Lady Bird's gracious, warm words melted away the chilly and windy air.
I'm delighted to be here and see Columbia State Community College, which tells so much about the vitality of education in our country. Consider this story. The people of a county provide 204 acres of empty land, some seed money, and a vision. A state legislature and a governor determined that every student in the state shall be within easy distance of higher learning, contribute the first millions, and the vision becomes a plan. The nation's government, more strongly committed to education than ever before, joins the venture with construction money, development grants, scholarships, work-study assistance, help for the library, and enthusiastic moral support. Thus, in the space of 12 months, a college is born to bring together 311 students and 23 teachers who might otherwise never have met.
The enthusiastic and applauding supporters of the college who braved the cold March wind watched as Mrs. Johnson unveiled the dedication plaque. She then presented the college's library with two gifts, a volume of Shakespeare and the film I, Leonardo.
The words of First Lady and President Johnson that red letter day in March 1967 are documented and are a proud part of Columbia State's startup and Maury County's rich history. But just as important as their warm, encouraging words was the actual presence of the First Lady and President of our country. The President and First Lady were here, right here in Maury County. They came to share this proud occasion with us, the dedication and startup of our community's college.
Those lucky enough to find sitting or standing room at the college campus remember how tall and big the president was. He towered over everyone. A few folks got lucky after the dedication ceremony, as the president and Mrs. Johnson departed the platform and moved through the crowd. President Johnson, with those long arms and large hands, reached over the heads of some folks to grab outreached hands of others to deliver a hearty handshake. The First Lady is remembered as petite, fashionable in her designer red wool coat, elegant with not a hair out of place. Lady Bird was just as warm and friendly as the president was effervescent and jovial.
The day was full of pomp and circumstance as state, county, city, and college leaders hosted the President and First Lady of our country. It was a great honor when the First Lady accepted Governor Ellington's invitation to come to Columbia to dedicate our new college. But when the President decided 2 days before the dedication day that he could come and join the First Lady, it heightened the excitement to a whole new level.
And I remember those of us who had responsibilities, such as student ambassadors or any staff members or anyone, when we received word that the President was coming, then we were called into a conference room and then given our orders, so to speak, on procedures and what we were to do and protocol. And I remember that and how it changed dramatically from when she was the only one coming to when it was he along with her, and how they stepped up the safety procedures.
Throughout the day, everywhere the Johnsons went, security was stepped up. Secret Service agents were everywhere. Tennessee Highway Patrol were on duty with the motorcade and were also all over the college campus and downtown Columbia. Press writers and photographers were probably equal in number to Secret Service agents. They followed the President and First Lady from the Governor's Mansion and the Metro Airport to the Hermitage Plantation, to Capitol Hill in Nashville, to Columbia, and back to Air Force One. No doubt today they would have been labeled the paparazzi. Schools in Maury County were closed on the red letter day. It was an opportunity of a lifetime for children, their teachers, and their families to get to see a president and first lady. After all, it had been 150 years since a president of the country had visited in Maury County. Who knows, it might be another 150 years. The Johnsons stopped at the James K Polk Home and Museum for a brief planned visit. The First Lady reflected in her A White House Diary, later published in 1970.
We next drove to the home of President James K Polk, an indulgence planned for me. Sometime I hope to visit the home of every one of the 35 other presidents. I have seen at least 12. The house was impressive, with handsome furniture, much of it original. Some of the furniture had been in the White House with Polk. The Polks did so many of the right things. Lady Bird Johnson.
The most memorable of all the stories from most people is one that unfolded as the President and First Lady's motorcade was about to depart downtown Columbia. The Dairy Queen story. Apparently, President Johnson was well known for loving a good Dairy Queen ice cream cone. He probably spotted the Dairy Queen store as the motorcade entered downtown Columbia earlier in the afternoon.
People found a great deal of humor in the fact that he stopped at the Dairy Queen to have an ice cream cone.
The Dairy Queen stories have been reported mostly secondhand. Even though they are not eyewitness stories, most are pretty accurate. One teenage boy heard that the president ordered chocolate ice cream, but this Dairy Queen didn't serve chocolate, so the president had to make do with vanilla. The Dairy Queen story is officially documented in the president's itinerary. The president ordered chocolate ice cream, but got vanilla. Wonder how many other times the president's orders were not carried out to his specifications.
No matter what your political affiliation, Republican or Democrat, On this day, all party lines dissolved. On this day, our nation's President and First Lady took time from their grueling schedules to come to Columbia, Tennessee. They came to help us celebrate the beginning of our new college. They helped us dedicate it forever to the service of the people and the progress of our nation. We were honored with their presence, and we were proud. We were proud of our new college, our county, our city, our state, and our nation. Oh my, were we proud.
I was so proud to be here that day because of my personal feeling for education. There is nothing more important that, as I said, totally changes your life. It gives you opportunity, it opens doors for you that would never otherwise have happened. That's why it's so important. And Columbia State is right in the middle of it.
Well, we were terribly grateful. We were grateful to so many people on the national level, of course, and the state, and the people who lived right here in our community who had worked so hard for this.
Yeah.
And we were grateful to the president and his wife for choosing to celebrate with us.
I am proud to be from Columbia. I'm proud that Columbia State is part of our history now. It's just not part of us, it's part of our history.
That was a red letter day in Maury County.